Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is your Chelsea Manchester United preview. It's Sunday, 4:30 kick-off at Stamford Bridge. This is a big game. Chelsea recently had a good win against Atletico Madrid. They're beating them 1-0 in the Champions League. Chelsea have done very well under Thomas Tuchel. They are unbeaten so far under Thomas Tuchel. Chelsea appointed Tuchel in earlier on this season to replace Frank Lampard. Chelsea sacked Frank Lampard after just 18 months in charge. A lot of Chelsea fans disagreed with the decision to sack Frank Lampard. But Chelsea are known as a sacking football club because they have sacked a lot of managers. You know, they sacked Frank Lampard earlier on this season. They sacked Maurizio Sarri. He only got one season at Chelsea. Maurizio Sarri did win the Europa League with Chelsea. He also got Chelsea to the League Cup final. They sacked Antonio Conte, despite him winning the Premier League with Chelsea. They also sacked Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho endured 2 spells with Chelsea. They also sacked Gus Higgins. They sacked Di Matteo. I think they won the Champions League under Di Matteo. They also sacked Rafa Benitez. They sacked Villas-Boas. They sacked Scarali. They sacked Avram Grant. They also sacked Carlo Ancelotti, and he did very well at Chelsea. Chelsea's owner is Roman Abramovich. He is a billionaire. He bought Chelsea in 2003. Chelsea did good recruitment last year. Obviously, they brought Hakim Ziyech in. They brought Timo Werner in. Timo Werner has not done as good as a lot of people expected. They also brought Ben Chilwell in. They brought Kai Havertz in. They brought Thiago Silva in, who's been injured recently. And they also brought Milan Sarr in. And they brought Mendy in. Obviously, they brought them players in under Frank Lampard. Chelsea have got a lot of good young players. You know, they've got that Reece James, who looks good. They've got that Billy Gilmore. They've got Mason Mount. They've got Callum Hudson-Odoi. They've got Christian Pulisic. They've got Tammy Abraham. So got a lot of good young players. I like N'Golo Kante. He's very good for Chelsea. Obviously, he's won the Premier League with Chelsea. He also won it during his time at Leicester. N'Golo Kante is one of their best players. I do like Azpilicueta. They've also got Marco Alonso. I think Rudiger is a very good centre-half for Chelsea. Jorginho, I don't really rate him, to be honest with you. Chelsea did get him from Napoli. They've got Olivier Giroud. I don't really rate Olivier Giroud, to be honest with you. Arrizabalaga, he's a very poor goalkeeper. Chelsea paid a substantial amount for him. Chelsea have loaned a lot of players out, by the way. They've let a few players go in recent years, permanently. Obviously, they let David Luiz go. Willian also left them. I think Chelsea made a mistake by getting rid of Eden Hazard a few years ago. Eden Hazard was a long-serving player at Chelsea, endured, was it 7 or 7.5 years with them. A few years ago, Chelsea did have a transfer ban. Now, we drew with Chelsea earlier on this season at Old Trafford. It was 0-0. Pretty poor game, to be honest with you. Rashford did have some good chances in that game. We beat Chelsea 3 times out of the 4 times we played them last season. We beaten them 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. That was our first win at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League since 2012. We're beating them 2-1 in the EFL Cup at Stamford Bridge, and we're beating them on the opening day of last season at Old Trafford 4-0. We recently drew 0-0 with Real Sociedad at Old Trafford in the Europa League round of 32 second leg, but obviously we got to the last 16 because we won 4-0 on aggregate. By the way, we have got AC Milan in the last 16 of the Europa League. That's going to be a very, very tough game. AC Milan, they've won the Champions League 7 times. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he'll be reuniting with Manchester United because he's at AC Milan. They've got Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Man United have been in for him before. They've got Theo Hernandez. They've got Mandzukic. They've got a very good goalkeeper in Donnarumma. We're actually looking at Donnarumma as a possible replacement for De Gea in the summer. And we won our last league game against Newcastle. We beaten them 3-1. It was good to get back to winning ways in the Premier League because prior to that Newcastle game, we'd only won 1 of our last 5 in the Premier League. It wasn't the best of performances against Newcastle, but, at least we got the win. Solskjaer did make several changes in the game against Real Sociedad. And obviously he's going to make a lot of changes in this game against Chelsea. Now, Solskjaer has confirmed that Edinson Cavani, Donny van de Beek and Scott McTominay are all doubts for this game. Edinson Cavani has been out with a muscle injury. He's missed our last 3 games now, I think it is. But Cavani has made a fantastic impact since he come to Manchester United. His hold-up play is very, very good. He creates chances. His movement in and out of the box is good, and he scores goals. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently said that Edinson Cavani is set for contract extension talks. Cavani says he wants to stay at Manchester United beyond this season, so I do presume we'll trigger that 1-year extension on his current contract. Because he's into the final 4 months of his current contract. We got Cavani on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. Scott McTominay, he's recently had a knock, and McTominay has enjoyed good games this season. I think his best game was the 6-2 win against Leeds because he scored twice in that game and he also got an assist. He did well against Watford in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, scored in the 5th minute of that one. Did well in the 9-0 win against Southampton. Just after the first lockdown, McTominay signed a 5-year contract with the club. And Donny van de Beek, I think he's been out with a muscle injury. Donny van de Beek won't play in this game anyway. Donny van de Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected. Most of his appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. All he needs to play him more because he is a good player. You know, Solskjaer made an admission earlier on this season saying that Van der Beek is unhappy at the club because of his lack of game time, but Solskjaer promised him more game time at Man United. We got Van der Beek in a deal worth £40 million. We paid £35 million up front and there was £5 million in add-ons, and he's got a contract with the club till 2025 and he can play in 3 different roles. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has provided us with an update on Paul Pogba. He says Paul Pogba is going to be out for a few more weeks. Paul Pogba has got a thigh injury. But Solskjaer recently said that Paul Pogba is stepping up his recovery and he has been back in training. Paul Pogba's a big miss because you can say we do lack quality in that midfield without him. In recent months, Paul Pogba's performances have been very, very good, and he's been enjoying the best period in his Man United career since he rejoined. Earlier on this season, he had an ankle injury, and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. So he's sustained a few injuries now at Man United. We are still hopeful that Paul Pogba will sign a new contract at the club. Now, earlier on this season, Solskjaer suggested that Pogba could sign a new contract. He said that Pogba's happy at the club and we'd held talks regarding his future. In January, it said that Paul Pogba was considering making a U-turn at the club and he contradicted his agent, Mino Raiola, for the second time. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been linked with a move to Real Madrid. Juventus have also been in for him, his former club. I think there's a good chance he'll go back to Juventus if he leaves in the summer because he did enjoy 4 good years with them, and there was narratives stemming from the Italian press saying that Juventus offered us 4 players in exchange for Pogba. And also too, PSG have been in for him. Now, it did say we revealed our asking price for Paul Pogba. It's £100 million. Now, Mino Raiola is desperate to get his client out of the football club in the summer. Mino Raiola has been criticised a few times. He doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. Mino Raiola recently admitted that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer to avoid offence. And he made an announcement back in December regarding Paul Pogba. And Solskjaer was furious with Mino Raiola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid £89 million for him. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on his contract, so he's under contract with Man United until June 2022. But yeah, so it looks like Paul Pogba's going to be unavailable for, the Man City game on the 7th of March, and Man City is going to be a massive game. We've got to start beating the top 6 sides in the Premier League because we have struggled against the top 6 sides in the Premier League this season. And people say you've got to beat the top sides to be genuine title contenders. We are sitting second in the Premier League, but that's good because no one expected us to be where we are, reflecting how poor we was at the first part of this season. Solskjaer, by the way, said after our 3-1 win against Newcastle that we are still in the title race despite the 10-point gap. He said the exact same thing after the 1-1 draw with West Brom that we're still in the title race and will not settle for second in the title race. But then his admission was totally different to that after the 3-3 draw of Everton, because he said we shouldn't be considered as title chasers. And there was less points in it then. So it doesn't really make any sense. It's just Ollie playing mind games. You know, I think we'll win another title at some point, but I don't know when. You know, maybe next season, maybe next couple of seasons. It all depends on how we recruit. We haven't won the Premier League since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. Like I've said of in regards to Solskjaer, he must win a trophy at Manchester United to avoid the sack. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and a club of our stature need to be winning trophies. You know, the Europa League is a chance of a trophy. You know, we're into last 16. Yeah, Milan's going to be a tough game. You know, don't forget we got to the Europa League semis last season, lost to Sevilla. You know, we won the Europa League back in 2017 under Mourinho, so we can win it again. The FA Cup is also a chance of a trophy. We're the second most successful team in FA Cup history because we have won 12. But the last time we won the FA Cup was under the Louis van Gaal era, back in 2016. But Leicester will be a tough game. By the way, Daniel James, he came off injured in the 0-0 draw with Sociedad. Hopefully the injury is not too severe. James has been playing a lot recently. So it looks like now he's getting his way back into the team and he's playing persistently. Because for a while, Daniel James wasn't playing a lot. Obviously, there was narratives back in January of him possibly going out on loan. But he has done well, to his credit. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can beat Thomas Tuchel. He's already beaten him twice as Manchester United manager. Obviously, this is when Tuchel was at PSG. Because obviously, we beat PSG 3-1 a few years ago in the Champions League. That was actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's last game as interim manager. And we beat PSG earlier on this season in the Champions League group stage 2-1. So can we become the first team to beat Chelsea under Tuchel? Sorry, it's gone off. This year's summer transfer window is very, very important for Manchester United. And this year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. Because we do need to make signings. I'm expecting us to make signings in the summer transfer window. Now, our transfer budget has been revealed. It's not what a lot of Man United fans expected. There was narratives coming out a few weeks ago saying that we are prepared to smash our transfer record in the summer, and Woodward will hand Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a huge war chest to sign top players in all areas. Solskjaer's actually confirmed that he's got the backing of the owners to get the players he wants to recommend in. So far, Ole has endured 4 transfer windows as permanent Man United manager. He's spent over £200 million at the club, and to his credit, he has recommended some good players in. But as yet, Solskjaer hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. And in that aspect, the blame stems from the board, because so far the board have not backed him enough, and Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole, and he did say towards the end of last year, Woodward, that he'll back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows. So hopefully he gets backed in the summer. It was a disappointing January transfer window for us because we only saw one arrival, and that was Amad Diallo Traore. But Solskjaer did say a few times during the January transfer window that he wasn't expecting any signings. He was focusing a lot more on the outgoings in January rather than the incomings. We saw a few players leaving the January transfer window. We saw Jesse Lingard go out on loan to West Ham. We saw Tiedemann Mengi go. Facundo Pellistri went out on loan. Odion Ighalo said his farewells to the club. Marcus Rojo left and Timothy Fosu-Mensah left. Ollie's got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended in. There is a lot of players on our agenda. Now, you obviously know the news on Erling Haaland from Borussia Dortmund. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did confirm prior to the game against Sociedad in the second leg that he's keeping in touch with Erling Haaland, because Solskjaer recently said he's following Erling Haaland's progress, and back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Erling Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Now, Sky Sports, which is a reliable source, they said that Dortmund will sell Haaland for 78 million in the summer. Mino Raiola, his agent, said that there's only 4 Premier League clubs that can afford him. So we face a potential transfer battle for Haaland. He's got a £68 million release clause, but that doesn't become active until next year. Since his arrival at Dortmund, he's been a revelation. You know, he's been at Dortmund over the year. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him, and he's got a contract with Dortmund until 2024. A centre-half and a forward are our 2 priorities. Now, Solskjaer recently said he wants 3 signings, and he's set to sit down with Ed Woodward to negotiate our business, apparently, in the next couple of weeks. You know the news on Jadon Sancho. There is still a chance that Man United will sign him in the summer. Sportsbuild recently said that we are still very interested in signing Sancho, but the Athletic said we've paused our transfer pursuit of Sancho due to Mason Greenwood's progress. He's available for a reduced fee in the summer. The other week, £60 million was quoted, but Dortmund face a summer of departures, obviously to raise funds. Jules Koundé from Sevilla, he's our top target. We are unwilling to meet his £68 million release clause, but we are still interested. We definitely need a centre-half. We need someone to go alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. He recently said Solskjaer has a 4-man centre-back shortlist. I think more players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. Like I said, there's a good chance that Juan Mata will leave in the summer. Solskjaer did say prior to the game against Sociedad in the second leg that he's not surprised that Juan Mata's linked to a move away from the club. There's 3 Italian clubs that are interested in him. Juan Mata's current contract expires in June. There is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Earlier on this season, Mata rejected an £18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Mata doesn't play a lot now, but I think he's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. We got Juan Mata in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. Do you think he could be involved in the game on Sunday? If he is, he'll be reuniting with his former club. Matic, you know, he could be involved on Sunday, and if he is, he'll be reuniting with his former club. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. By the way, there is a good chance we could sell Matic in the summer. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he's still getting his chances. And I've always had my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a slow player, and plus now he's ageing up. A lot of United fans have said we should sell Anthony Martial in the summer. Whether we do or not, I do not know. We probably won't, to be honest, because Solskjaer's still got a lot of faith in him. He backs Anthony Martial to rediscover his form. But if we sold him in the summer, I think we'd get around £30 million. You know, Martial was good last season, and he was good in his debut season under the Louis van Gaal era. Martial's been at the club now over 5 years. Jones, I'm expecting him to leave this year because Jones doesn't get in our 11. I'm surprised Jones didn't leave in the January transfer window. But Solskjaer said he's going to give him a second chance, and Jones has been out with injury for the past, 13 months now. This is 10th season at the club. He's the only outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Victor Lindelof, a lot of United fans want him to go in this summer because he's a liability. And Solskjaer said he is prepared to sell either De Gea or Dean Henderson in the summer. I think we should sell De Gea in the summer. You know, if we sell De Gea, we'll probably get from between 50 to 60 million pounds. Solskjaer's already warned De Gea that his number 1 jersey is under threat. And Paul Scholes recently said that De Gea is becoming a real problem for Man United. You know, he's been a long servant at the club. This is 10th season at Man United, and he's made over 500 appearances in all competitions. But De Gea is going to remain our number 1 for at least this season. And Dean Henderson, he's threatened to quit Man United if he's not assured the number 1 role. Sky Sports recently said that Dortmund and Tottenham are leading the race for Henderson. We've revealed our asking price for Henderson. It's £40 million. We should make him our number 1 because he is reliable enough now to become our number 1. He has got that experience behind him because he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. Before the start of this season, he signed a 6-year contract with Man United. Dean Henderson's got a lot of development in him, and he's done really, really well in the games he's played in this season. Now, I am Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in. I don't know if he is the long-term manager for Man United. You know, time will tell. He's going to be given at least another season at the football club. This is his 2nd full season at the moment. Solskjaer's made very, very good progress at Man United. You know, there's been some games where he's got the best out of the players. There's been some games where his decision-making has been very, very good. There's been some games where his decision-making's been poor. Like I said, he's improved certain players. We've got a fantastic away record in the Premier League. You know, we haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. We've won more games at home recently, but if you've noticed, all our defeats have come at Old Trafford this season. Solskjaer did say, by the way, that the culture is improving at Old Trafford. You know, Solskjaer's got us to the last 16 of the Europa League. He's got us to the FA Cup quarters. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Lost 2-0 to Man City. Did very, very well in his first full season. Guided us to 3 semi-finals. Got us qualification for the Champions League and also got us 3rd place. And I've probably got to say Ole is the best manager since Ferguson because we've enjoyed good periods under Ole where we've seen consistency and we didn't see consistency for a long time. We've also enjoyed our bad periods under Ole. First part of this season was very, very poor, and the first part of last season wasn't good because we enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. I think Solskjaer will sign a new contract at the end of the season. despite Solskjaer recently saying that nobody spoke to him over a new contract. But it said a few weeks ago, we'll wait until the end of the season to begin contract talks with Solskjaer. Says we could offer him a new 2-year deal on one condition, that's if we qualify for the Champions League. Ollie's into the final 18 months of his current contract. Ollie has been Man United manager now over 2 years. And reflecting how long he's been at the football club, he's gained some managerial experience and he's learnt quite a bit on the job. We know he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. He's managed over 100 games as Man United manager in all competitions. We appointed Ollie in December 2018 and he's been permanent Man United manager since March 2019. But anyway, Solskjaer's done his press conference for this game, so on my next video I'll give you my reaction to that. Also, your starting 11 prediction will be coming up. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.